2018, an abandoned theater containing a treasure trove of Pokémon mascot costumes was discovered and documented online. At first, this may seem very random, but there's actually a really good explanation as to why this happened. These Pokemon costumes originate from Pokémon Live. This was a musical that ran from 2000 to 2001. This is when Pokemon really began to hit its stride in the United States, so it makes sense that they wanted to capitalize on the success of the anime and the game and the trading cards. Though the plot and the reception of the show wasn't particularly amazing, it was popular with kids and ran for over a year. The musical eventually went outside of the United States, but this run would be very short-lived. Due to loss of revenue and lack of interest, the show was canceled in very early 2002. And this is where we circle back to these abandoned mascot costumes. When the show went international, they had to downsize certain props and other things used in the show. As a result, they just left behind an insane amount of merchandise and mascot costumes and other things used throughout the show. So quite literally what happened is an urban explorer was searching an abandoned theater in which Pokemon Live performed at in 2001, and they just randomly found these costumes, which I don't know, I would be definitely freaked out because some of this footage is like scary looking. I don't know what I would think if I just randomly walked into this. So now keep in mind, this happened in 2018. I'm not quite too sure what happened to these things. I've seen videos of people vandalizing and messing with the props themselves. So if I had to take an educated guess, I would just assume that people either stole them or just messed with them to the point where they're probably not even recognizable. Now this may seem weird, and it definitely is, I'm not denying that, but this entire show is just not very well documented, and it kind of seemed like they just canceled it really quickly. The professional recording of the English version of the show has never been officially released. So it kind of seems like they abandoned this show, and it really makes sense that they would just see these mascot costumes and not think twice about just leaving them there. Especially after doing research and finding out that this was probably one of the last shows done at this theater. And again, things like this might happen more than you think. The best example I can think of off the top of my head is of an abandoned Sonic statue in Japan. This was found by a random biker, and it was originally at like a Sega World, like arcade, kind of Dave & Buster's thing, and then it's just randomly on a trail in Japan. But that one actually has a happy ending, like people got to it and then restored the statue. And now when I was doing research, like it's even a place on Google Maps, like it's like a marked location. And there's like a ton of abandoned Sonic statues that have been found. Like that's just one of many. Shout out to that scary ass water serpent thing from Disney, like the 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. That's just not it. I don't like that. But all this goes to show, like, you don't know what's out there. There could be things that have been waiting for multiple decades, just sitting there waiting to be discovered. And these Pokemon costumes are just one of many. And I just find the topic very interesting, considering its background.